So this is the SABLEWOOD Messengers, which is the quick start adventure for the open beta for Daggerheart. Marlowe Fairwind is one of the characters in the party, and Marlowe is the right hand sorcerer of King Emerus. And Marlowe has gathered her most trusted allies to carry an important package to a village in the Sablewood called Hush, a small village in this ancient forest. The crate is large, heavy, sealed with magic, and it's addressed to someone named the Whitefire Arcanist. You've been given a map and a carriage and the promise of a reward upon your arrival, and the locals should be able to tell you who the Whitefire Arcanist is or where they live. So, that's how you start. Let's do some character intros. Zoom in here, and we'll start with Barnacle.
Hello, everybody. My name is Barnacle. I am a rogue extraordinaire, explorer without compare. Here to help you. We shall certainly gain loot, which I'm excited about always. It's going to be a good day. Great day.
Garrick.
Eric, he was raised in wealth at the other side of the world and realized that he was fighting in the wrong side of a war, so he deserted and is finding a new path, a different place.
Then the giant, Carrie.
Carrie's from the fringes of society. Really kind of like a wanting to help people, right? She's I think she finds glory in community. And so this Sablewood is kind of an unknown entity to her, so she is traveling to find out more. So she's curious but very community oriented.
The leader of your band, Marlowe. Go ahead, Marlowe.
Marlowe's pretty much been introduced already. She's the right-hand sorcerer of the king, and she's been tasked with bringing this package to where it's supposed to go. And she's going to act very confident, but inside she's kind of dying inside.
Okay. And last but not least, we have the Ranger Varian.
Yes, so Varian is a Qatari who I imagine is very familiar with these woods, has kind of like grown up in that environment. I pictured them as being acting on instincts a lot, but with good intentions and kind of forthrightness, and hopefully will help us get where we're going.
Okay. This evening, your party finally made it to the Sablewood, a sprawling forest of colossal trees some say are even older than the Forgotten Gods. It's a place renowned for two things: its sunken pathways that provide the trade routes for many traveling merchants, and its unique hybrid animals. Even now, from within your carriage, you can hear strange sounds: the bird calls of the lark moths, the croak of the lemur toads, the skittering of a family of fox bats in the underbrush. One of you is driving the carriage. Who will that be?
Marlowe will do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's my bag.
Okay, Marlowe, you're up front, driving the carriage. The rest of you are inside there. And you guys have noticed, or at least Marlowe, you have, something unique about the look of the trees here in the Sablewood. What is it exactly? So this is a little bit of Daggerheart's letting the players build the world.
They seem to be whispering.
Trees are whispering. Okay. Nice. So as your steed pulls the carriage around a tight corner, one wheel coming off the ground for just a moment, you see an overturned merchant's cart laying sideways in the path before you, blocking your way. A scattering of fruits and vegetables litter the trail. From around the side of the carriage steps a Strix wolf, a large creature with the body of a wolf, the face of an owl, and large wings adorning its back. It finishes chewing its meal, the hand of the dead merchant, as it stares at you, curious, trying to judge whether you're friend or foe. Then you see, following clumsily behind, two small pups watching their mother cautiously. From within, the rest of you feel your carriage come to a stop. What would you guys inside like to do?
I think Varian was ready to take it out until it saw the pups.
What do you think, Varian? Is this like a friendly family, give it some food and move along, or is this going to be like, time to pull out my daggers?
Well, it just ate, so imagine that maybe it won't come after us because it's full, but maybe we can show kindness towards the pups and it'll let us pass. Maybe give them
Would
some
one
food?
of you like to attempt to calm it and approach it?
I have rations on me, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I can hold those out. offeringly and
You have a
Um,
feature or a power called Domain's
Nature's Friend.
Yeah, Nature's Friend. So if you'd like to do a, this would be a presence roll, and you get to add your experience if you want to spend a hope. And does anyone in the party want to try and assist? That would give Marlo, or not Marlo, that'd give Varian advantage if you assist, but you have to spend a hope to assist them.
My presence is not the best.
Eric definitely wants to assist. I'm friend to everyone, very affable.
Okay.
And I also want to keep an eye out to see if there are any survivors around,
Okay.
perhaps hiding from this.
Okay. So, Varian, go ahead and do a presence check. You're going to get an advantage. And Gary, go and roll a d6 to give the advantage for Varian. So, Varian, you want to roll that button that starts with A2, S0. You'll do that button for every
Okay, I
check
see
you
it.
make. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Too many d6s.
So we'll go with the one that you got. So Varian, you got a 7 on the hope die, a 12 on the fear die. You get a subtract 1 for your presence, add 1 for Nature's Friend. If you spend that hope, you guys both need to mark down the hope for spending the hope.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So anyway, you're going to make it by a mile with fear, however. So the Strix Wolf calmly tries to keep her pups out of danger. I get to take a fear token for later, so I'm going to be tracking those fear tokens where you can see them. So I'm going to use this action tracker, which I just brought down here. And I started out with 3 fear tokens, and now I'm up to 3. Okay. The mother hoot howls, as if calling to another Strix Wolf among the trees. You know you might not be alone for long, but she definitely gets out of your way with her pups in tow. So she moves out of the way. You don't see any other owls around. Now, Garrick, what do you want to do?
Do I see any signs of survivors?
Well, there was a merchant that Strix Wolf was eating.
Yes.
You want to go
But
search
no one
that?
who fled into the woods or anything like that?
No
I'll
one.
look for trails, tracks, nothing
Okay.
like that. Okay.
Okay, you want to search for tracks, and then Varian, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, is there anything that would be useful to our journey that could just be gathered?
You want to search the wagon?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll go search the wagon. Marlo, what do you want to do?
Can the wagon get around this wreck, or are we going to have to move it to get
You're going to have to
away?
move it. Yeah, you'll have to move it.
Mm,
I'm
Would
going
that
to
be
ask.
something I could do?
Yeah, I'm going to ask for some help in moving that.
Okay, you'll go up to
wreck.
move with Carrie. See,
Nope.
so Garrick, if you click your token, and then the purple circle with the 2 in it, you want to make that a 1. And Varian, the purple circle with a 2 on yours, you want to make that a 1 since you both spent a hope. That's tracking your hope.
So those are our hope
That's your
tracker.
hope.
Got
Yep.
it.
Okay, and then Barnacle, what do you want to do while everyone's getting up there and searching and trying to move the wagon?
So there was something else in the woods. I'm gonna kind of go off into the woods and try to, but I'm gonna hide and try to see what it is. I'm kind of moving over.
Okay.
Wherever I think I could maybe see what the direction it was looking at.
You got it. Okay, so Barnacle, I'll have you make an instinct roll to see if you can see anything out there in the woods. Okay, so to do that, you click your token. You're looking for the A1, S -1, F2. So your instinct is 0. There you go. And that would be...
I get advantage, so I get a D6.
Not for the insight. This is the insight to see if you see anything.
This is for insight.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that'd be a 6 with hope. So you get to add a hope, but the 6 is not a success. So you don't see anything in there. And unfortunately, you do hear a snap, a whirlwind of cracking branches and unsheathed blades. A group of 4 thistlefolk jump out from the brush alongside the road, right nearby where you were looking, Barnacle. Got a picture of these guys here.
I knew it.
So that's what you see.
That's
what you see jumping out of the brush. Let me put them in the visible layer. Okay, so you see 4 of those things jumping out of the brush, and they have a special power where they ambush. They get to go before you, actually, because of the special power. They act first. Okay.
Am I able to be hidden from them?
Yeah, you can definitely make a hide check.
Okay, so I'll do the
one to the right of that
button. Okay, so and I believe I have an advantage on that if it's got shadows in there.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
So you add another d6 there.
Yeah, so it's with fear. 14 plus 2 is 16. Yeah, and I didn't call spending hope, so 16.
Okay. 16 with fear. Definitely hidden from them. Now comes the ambush. And it's interesting in the playtest, they talk about setting up the battle map. So they'd like have the players work with the GM to set up the battle map together. Let me tell you what you guys spotted real quick before the ambush started, in case any of this matters. Searching the merchant cart, the cart being stripped of all valuables. There's the dead driver with a mangled arm, picked over by the Strixwolf before you got here. You didn't see any tracks, Garrick, leaving the area, but you do find something strange on the road. There are the remnants of a thorny bramble tangled around the wheel of the carriage and strewn across the road, almost like someone set an ambush to disable the cart.
Oh,
So you noted that.
surprise.
Okay, so now there you go. The ambush power. When the ambusher enters the scene without being spotted first, they immediately move into melee with the target, make an attack against them. So this one will go after Marlowe. This one will go after Garrick. This one will go after Garrick. I don't think there's attacks of opportunity in this game. I don't remember seeing that at all. And those are only 3 that have the ambush power. So the one attack in Marlowe is going to be doing a dagger attack on Marlowe. That is a 15 to hit you, Marlowe, for 14 damage. You can spend armor to reduce that if you wanted to. You do have a power. Harry, you want to do your power?
Yeah, I'm trying to read it here. So I want to do the I am your shield.
Uh-huh. So you can spend 1 stress and mark the stress in the gray circle. So change your 0 to a 1.
Roger.
And you'll take that damage instead. So you're going to take the 14 damage instead of instead of Marlowe taking it. You reduce it by your strength, which is 2, so you only take 12 damage. And you can spend armor if you want.
And then, okay. Is there one where I can also... Okay, so I'll just take it.
You have a thing called, what's it called? Stalwart Hope. You can spend a hope to reduce the damage by your armor without using your armor slot.
Okay. So I think I'll do that. So I'll reduce it by, I'll use 1 hope, and then which reduces it by 7. And you said the number was
12 down to 5,
12.
which is less than your first threshold, which means you take 1 stress. So your stress goes up to 2.
Okay.
All right, that's that one. Then we got one attacking Garrick with his dagger.
Oh, what did I do?
Missing, and another one attacking Garrick. That gets by Garrick's evasion strength of 9, doing 8 points of physical damage, Garrick. You want to use your armor. You could if you want to, and get it below your threshold for minor damage. Oh, and
then I just take a stress.
1 stress. You just take 1 stress, yeah.
All right, we'll go with that.
Okay. Now we're out of that special ambush power, and so we're into the regular round. I currently have 4 fear. I have 0 action tokens. Every time you guys take an action, I'll gain an action token that I can use for these creatures to do their actions. And you guys can kind of go in any order you want. So click your initiative if you want to go, 2 is like right away. 1 is in whatever order you happen to come up in. And 0 is you want to delay until later. All right. So we got Barnacle and Carrie. Carrie's okay. Barnacle goes first.
Yep.
Okay. I'll generally take whoever's up on the list there.
Very kind. All right, so I see these 2 right next to me, so I'm gonna jump out of the shadows, and I strike first, and then I go haha, haha, and I will attack with my dagger with my plan to take a stress and attack the other guy as well with my quick ability.
And since these are going to be sneak attacks, you can spend hope to increase your sneak attack damage if you want.
Yes, I will do that. Is that per attack though?
Yes. Okay. And as far as I know, you can sneak attack on both your attacks, not just once per turn.
And the other thing I can do is I could do they don't see me coming to increase my attack by +2.
Correct.
And I assume that is also per attack.
Yes.
I haven't parsed the language to try to cheat, but but it occurs to me. If I had more time, I would. All right, so I will spend a hope. I want to feel really good about this first attack, so I'm going to attack with my dagger, and that is 8 plus 2 plus another 2 is 12.
12.
And I have advantage.
Oh,
I need it.
one more d8. 13. Made it. You hit.
All right. Woohoo! I knew it. Aha! And so then I need to roll another d8 damage for the sneak attack.
It's actually built in there. So you got an 8 for the first one and a 7 for your
gotcha.
sneak. So 15
nice.
damage.
Ooh, that's good.
Really good hit. That is actually past their severe threshold, and in one stab, you kill this thistlefolk.
Nice.
And then with my quickness, I will take the other one. So another dagger attack, which means I take a stress from that. And that is going to be 15 with fear, which is 17
Hit.
To hit. And then that is going to be, what's that damage there?
4 and 2, so that'd be 6.
Okay, so it's the top one and the sneak.
Yeah.
How's the sneak represented there?
So you get a d8 no matter what, and then if you spend hope before you attack roll, you can add more damage.
I see. So it's showing me up to like 4 other ones.
Yeah, if you spend like 5 hope all at once, you could do a whole bunch.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, so 6 is past its major threshold, so that means it takes 2 damage, which is not quite enough to kill it.
Fantastic. And so I think from that, I am up 1 hope, down 1 stress, and I gave you a fear, if I counted that correctly.
I got the fear, and your hope should go down 1 to 2.
Oh,
your stress should go up 1 to 1.
It stays the same because I rolled 1 roll with hope, right?
Oh, right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Stress. Thank you.
There's a lot to remember there, isn't there?
It's a simple game, as
it's
they
a
say
lot,
in their,
yeah. Okay.
in their description.
And now you rolled with fear,
Rules
so that means
applied.
it goes to the creature's turn. Oh, and I didn't mark when you guys were taking actions, but only one of you has so far, so they have 1 action to use that. And they have fear, so they're going to spend 1 of that fear to get 2 tokens to get up to 3 actions, and the fear goes down to 4. And then they're going to start using those. You see one slip out of the trees and start jumping into the wagon and ruffling through the wagon. Then you see the one that was his action, so I'm down to 2. Then you see the one here by Barnacle try to turn and fight for his life against the toad man, Barnacle, and he will do a fear token to do an additional d6 damage when he hits, if he hits. I don't know if I have to declare that first or second. I'll do it first. Here's his dagger attack against Barnacle. That's a 15 against Barnacle's evasion. It's going to do, I think that ambush is no, it's just 3 damage. Okay, so I need to roll a straight d6 roll for the Barnacle guy. So he did 13 damage to Barnacle.
Okay, so 13 damage would be a major. So I will spend armor to then take it down to 10, which is now, well, that would be the same.
You could spend 2 armor if you want.
2 armor.
Not very efficient, but you could get it down to minor with that.
Yeah, I will do that. Barnacle is quite vain, and so.
So I don't have a thing to mark your
2
armor spending, but you can note it on a side sheet of paper, or if you double click on your token, it'll bring up. You can go to the attributes and abilities tab and mark it on the armor tab there.
Got it.
One thing I noticed prepping all this is that it'd be nice if all the resources counted the same direction. They don't. One counts up, one counts down. Yeah. It'd be pretty easy for them to just change stress to stamina and have stamina count down, and then everything would count down.
Also noted with my attack, there's a lot of things flying around as you're doing stuff, and so counting that many things, it's almost like you need a little something to flip in front of you physically, like to track it, because it's so hard to write all that down while speaking. But
So Barnacle, you took one stress or 1 damage. So the red circle, I'll make a 1, and the gray circle, make that a 1. I'll track your hit points and your stress too.
Thank you.
Okay, that little guy's done.
So the gray is stress.
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean I took both the effect for 3 or lower and the effect for minor?
No, you got the stress because you attacked twice with your dagger.
Okay, cool.
The quick mark stress. Yeah. Okay, that guy's done, and I got 1 action left. I'm going to take the guy up here north on Marlowe. Actually, since Carrie's jumping in the way, this one up north is going to try and attack Carrie. And I got plenty of fear here, so he's going to go ahead and take advantage on the roll to attack Carrie. Drop my fear down to 2, and actions down to 0. and attack on Carrie is a dagger with advantage. It's going to be a 13 to hit, but that hits. Don't need to roll the advantage die. Oh, wow. 14 piercing damage, or physical damage, Carrie.
All right.
Ouch.
I will spend 2 armor. And I thought maybe, Aaron, you say something about, what if I did this?
Oh, one way you can track the armor is you can go to the shield icon and count it down if you wanted to. Or
Oh, you
count
can
it up.
do numbers on the shield icons?
Yeah, so you do that.
Now I'm going to spend 20 minutes looking for the shield.
I threw it up there already. Or you could use the one Varian used.
Okay.
And you
Right,
can count
perfect.
down or you can count up. I think the game wants you to count up.
Okay.
That's definitely a recommendation of mine is count everything in the same direction in the game. Okay.
So that's just 1 hit point, right?
Yeah, so that'll bring it down to be a minor, right?
Yeah.
So you take a 1 hit point. So your red
That's
circle will make
red.
that a 1. Okay, I'm all out of action, so it's back to you guys. Barnacle's gone already. Looks like Carrie and Garrick both want to go. Is it okay if Carrie goes first, Garrick?
Garrick will go and
Okay.
use
Go ahead, Garrick.
1 hope.
Okay.
It might have been muted.
Maybe.
To hit it hard and give that a shot at the one next to me with the
Okay.
long sword. And let's see. So that's 8 plus 3 plus 4, 12.
Plus
Hit.
1 for hit him hard, 13. And that is a hit.
Nice.
And then you did 4 points of physical damage, which is their minor threshold. But he only had 1 hit point left, so you kill him with that. And that was with hope, so you could add a hope. So you can increase your purple circle to
Okay.
1. And since that was with hope, Carrie, your turn.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to battle axe the one by Marlowe. That would be 16 with fear.
16's a hit,
Um,
10 physical.
and so it's just the 10. Is that what?
That's right, yeah. 10 physical
Um,
is their severe threshold, which kills him.
Right, but
All
then I
right.
take.
Nice.
But do I take a stress because it was fear, or do you just get a token?
No stress for you.
Okay.
I just get a token, yeah. And
Roger.
generally, you can move also 30 feet. You can move 30 feet and do an action. So if you want to do your movement after that attack, you can. And then
All right,
next
I
to
will
go,
move here then.
looks like it'd be Marlowe. Oh, wait, you rolled that with fear, didn't you? Yeah, so that means it's back to them. Oh, and 2 people have gone. I didn't track that, so it's up to 2 actions. I already got the fear, though. Okay, so this guy here is dragging that big crate, or doing everything he can to drag it out of there. He basically gets out of the cart and drags the crate down to the ground with a thud, sees you there, Carrie, and steps forward, and is going to spend a fear to do an actual action. So some monsters can spend fear to do things. This one's going to spend a fear to do a thing called back off. It's a 19 versus your evasion. Does 9 points of magical damage to you. And this is surprising to me. Pushes you 30 feet. 1, 2,
Really?
3, 4, 5,
Wow.
6. Yeah.
Hmm.
It actually says pushes you to far range, which in theory could be 100 feet. So it's
gonna be a problem.
quite a magical power he's got there. And then
So let characters
I take-
get that.
So what? How many hit points of damage was it?
you did 9. He did 9 to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it.
Okay, so one hit point.
Minor, +1.
And he starts dragging the box into the woods, but he only gets about that far. And that is an action. And in theory, I could keep going, but there's no one else here, so it's back to you guys. And it was, let's see, who was just going? Carrie? Marlowe, go ahead.
Marlo. Okay, Marlo was embarrassed that she left the carriage unattended, so she's going to run after that guy. Go, let's see, to here. And I have to hit this because I don't remember what it does. Okay, I'm going to spend the 2 tokens I have
Okay.
to do. So that's a.
You can shorthand say over 20 with hope. Anytime you get over 20, you
Okay.
can pretty much be sure
Okay.
you hit.
Over 20 with hope. And that's pretty good damage. I was going to maybe add to that, but for 16?
16 to the thief. It's, oh, wow, you got right up to a severe threshold of 15, and that takes him out. Sorry, you didn't even get a go.
Yeah. Nobody
Uh,
steals from us.
Now, hope carries over, so make sure you mark that hope that you got, Marlowe, with that attack. Fear carries over too. Actions don't, I don't think. So I'm going to reset the action, drag her down to 0, but the fear will carry over, and you take down that Thistlefolk. So the Thistlefolk are defeated. you can spend a little bit more time examining the carriage. And it looks like, yes, some brambles have been laid out across the road. They tangled up the wheel of the carriage. That caused the carriage to crash. You look at the merchant. They're long dead. Their arms partially eaten. But it wasn't the Strix wolf that killed them. Looks like their neck was slit by probably a blade similar to what these thistlefolk were carrying.
Hmm.
The thistlefolk don't have anything of value on them, however. So that is all you find there. And you can get the wagon out of the way, regroup onto your wagon, and head on to Hush, the village of Hush. The path leads you further into the forest until you spot a large stone pillar. It's carved top to bottom in ancient dwarven symbols. It denotes one corner of the peaceful village of Hush. When you pass beyond the stone marker, you feel a small sensation like the pop of a bubble. Then the sounds of friendly chatter become louder. Though the trees of the Sablewood are unchanged here, there is a distinctive, safe, and comforting air. A few smiling faces turn to you as your carriage rolls in, waving or casting a warm greeting toward you. There is lively music drifting your direction from the tavern at the center of the town. You know you need to find the Whitefire Arcanist to deliver the package from the king. What would you like to do?
Do you actually know them, Marlo? This arcanist?
Marlo does
I
not.
know-
Yeah,
I know
Marlo
of
knows
them.
that you'd have to talk to some people here in town to ask where they're at.
Yeah, I usually know some folks who know things if you want me to ask around.
Heck yeah.
Okay, you see a young child, Barnacle,
Oh, they have the most reliable information. Trust me on this.
who is
It's the right kind of kid.
scurrying about up and down trees, lighting the lanterns that hang from the branches. And they are
Oh, yeah.
looking at your group wide-eyed. And you say something to him. He comes crawling down real fast, rushes up to you real fast, kind of hopping from foot to foot, real fidgety. And he says, what can I do for you?
Well, buddy, you know, the task of filling handfuls of gold and turning them into bags never ends. How'd you like to get started on that?
I'd love to. What do you need?
I'll give you a coin if you can tell me the information on this guy I'm looking for, this arcanist, and I will tell him everything I'm supposed to know that I would remember if I were me.
The little child looks a little downcast. Says, I don't know where they... I know who would know. You could talk to
That's
the
all I
dwarf,
need.
Lausa Stallwind. She is in the Clover Tavern. She's a barkeep there, or barback, or something. I don't know. She said what she was. Big red beard. That's how you'll know her.
That's great. Well, take this handful of coins or whatever I have in this game currency, and my name's Barnacle. You ever need something, you look for me, kid. You're doing all right.
All right, I will. Where are you from, Barnacle?
Oh, wow, look, you're gonna make me flip to the other side of the sheet. I'm from the Underborn.
Oh,
Grew up
wow.
on the tough streets. It wasn't as nice as you got it here.
No, it's a big world out there. And he's looking up at the giant who's nearby Barnacle and just kind of like in awe of how big Carrie is.
Oh, yeah. Impressive, huh? You should hear how he snores.
All right. The little kid watches you guys go on to the Clover Tavern in awe and can't wait to show off his shiny new coin to his friends. The Clover Tavern is a sight to behold, with 6 curving stories climbing the trunk of an ancient tree. It's crowded with music, and it looks like good-natured conversation. You're welcomed to the bar by a greeter that says, you must take off your shoes before you come in.
I ain't wearing none. 'Cause I got cat feet.
Does that mean you have to put on shoes?
The greeter will take shoes from those of you who are wearing shoes and show you into the bar. Ask you if you want to come in for dinner, if you're just here for drinks.
And Barnacle has told everybody what I learned from the kids, and Barnacle seems quite happy to let someone else talk to the dwarf.
Well,
Who
Garrick
wants-
is a affable fellow. He's going to look around for the dwarf.
Okay. So, you're in the Clover
Red
Tavern
hair.
here. 6 curving stories climbing the trunk of an ancient tree. You're looking for a barkeep or a barback. Who's a dwarf? And sure enough, as you're circling up the tavern, you spot a lady dwarf with a big red beard, with a big cask of ale on one shoulder, walking toward the bar.
Garrick says, hello, good lady. I would like to sample your wine or your ale, please. I've had some of the best, but I've heard that here is the finest of all.
Well, come with me. And she leads you all to the bar. She puts it back there behind the bar and serves you up drinks for a mere less than a handful of gold. You're all able to get some drinks. And she starts quizzing you, specifically those of you who are warrior types, with questions about your weapons. When was your sword forged? She asks you, Garrick.
Well, it's a recent foraging. I left behind all my gear back when I left my home. It had a certain stink about it that I didn't care for. But what do you think of it? Is it
She
well
takes
forged,
it
or should I
out.
be looking for another?
Yeah, she takes it out, checks the sharpness, is duly impressed. You being a warrior type, I'm sure you keep it plenty sharp. I don't know if you took the starting gear for a fighter being the whetstone or the picture of a lover. Let's see what you got here. That'd be under your gear. You have the drawing of a lover. Okay, so she's not as impressed. You don't keep your sword quite sharp enough. Yeah, but then is duly impressed by Carrie's battle axe and wants to know where that was made. And she goes on and asks, all of you questions about all your pieces of armor and your weapons and such. Do you have any questions for her?
I'll ask how to fix mine.
Okay. She'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
I lean towards Garrick and say, "Hey, should we ask him about that caravan that was all smashed up?"
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
Maybe
by the
someone was
way,
expecting it.
I bring word from the trail. We found a poor, unfortunate wagon caravan beset and lost on the way. I wonder if anyone is waiting for a shipment or a visitor.
Oh, that sounds
You've
really
heard.
bad. You recall that it was carrying all sorts of fruits and vegetables and such in the wagon? They're all spoiled and ruined, so you didn't bring them with you. She does know actually the merchant and is sad to hear about his demise. It's a dangerous road, dangerous in the Sable Forest sometimes. She asks if you guys saw anyone who might have done it.
Oh yeah, them bastards.
The Thistlefolk, thieves, rapscallions,
Wicked
all of them.
thieves.
Yes. The thorniest brambles of the Sablewood are where they live, and they only come out to steal. Be watchful of them. You weren't too impressed when you saw them. They didn't seem like they were that rapscallion, cutthroatish. They weren't, that strong. So you don't know if necessarily they really deserve the reputation they have. Maybe they're just living off the land as best they can. But they did kill that guy, so that's certainly not acceptable.
Well, there's 4 less of them now.
Yeah.
I mean, they pushed a giant 30 feet. That's pretty.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That must have been
Impressive.
magic. They have hedge mages amongst them. That's what it must have been.
By the by, we're looking for someone known as the Wildfire Arcanist.
Oh, sure. I know where they live. In a tree house. I should say, not really a tree house, but more like a house hung from a tree. South from here. Just take the main road through the village, go past the farm fields, and you'll see it in no time.
Much obliged. That's helpful.
All right, so you guys can polish off a few drinks, then be on your way. You find when you're leaving the tavern, now those of you who had shoes, they are all shined and filled with some small trinkets. You can, whatever you think the trinkets might be, let us know.
Well, now I'm sad I didn't have shoes.
What would a cat get? What would a cat get?
A ball of yarn.
A little ball of yarn for you, yeah.
I got a stone polished and painted to look like an eye.
There you go. Nice.
Interesting.
Oh.
Looks like a lucky charm to me.
Definitely not a hag's scrying piece.
Of course not.
Well, you head south, making your way past the homes of the village and through the farmlands of Hush. You see a variety of crops that have begun to cultivate a thin layer of glowing blue moss over the top of their fruits and vegetables, and they pulse softly like a heartbeat as you pass. Among the thriving groves, you notice that the sablewood trees in the area have hundreds of unique faces carved into all sides, the eyes peering in every direction, reminding you of the stone you just picked up. One tree, taller than the rest, bears a home. Like an overripe fruit, it hangs from a braid of rope as wide around as a giant's forearm, tied to a massive branch and counterweighted by a cabin-sized boulder lying on the base of the tree. The stone is marked with a collection of symbols, and the cabin windows flash with a soft yellow-green light. So I got a picture of this for you for reference. Looks as such. Looking up at the tree. You see no sign of your arcanist, your Whitefire arcanist. What would you guys like to do?
Marlo will step forward and kind of falteringly say, "Hello, hello, hello."
There's no response, but you see the light within is still flickering.
Hmm.
And did you
Nice
say there
to
were
see.
runes on the boulder that
Yeah.
are glowing or similar?
Yeah. The stone is marked with a collection of symbols, and the cabin windows is what you see glowing in the soft yellow-green light. The symbols on the stone are definitely some sort of magical. There must be, you would surmise that it can like raise and lower that house, but you're not sure what magic would do that exactly.
How close is that thing? Like, how high up is that thing?
It's about 20 feet off the ground.
Is it how much?
Very
Gary, throw Barnacle up there.
Like, can
we
I
have a
see through the
cat.
window?
Maybe the cat can climb.
Oh, so what I'll do, I'll just grab the cat person and just toss them in the air to the cabin.
Can you throw that far?
I don't think you can
wild.
quite through that far, but someone could climb the tree
You-
if you wanted to.
If you could throw me to close range, I can do it.
I mean, I'm certainly happy to climb the tree, but just out of curiosity, I'm just going to try knocking on the boulder as if it was like a front door.
Very good. There is like a similar knocking sound you hear up above. And
It's like a ring.
yeah, it's like a doorbell a little bit.
Yeah, I love it.
Seems less invasive.
Clever.
The house lowers down of its own volition, all the way down to the ground, and then out from it steps a 7-foot-tall mix of humanoid and firefly. The Arcanist is a fairy that moves in a combination of both very slow and suddenly jerky movements. Though her expressions are difficult to read, her motions are very clear in her voice. She is old, but spry, and eyes you mischievously. She says, "Are you the group Emerus sent from the capital? Oh my, you're rather late, aren't you? Come in, come in."
Yes.
I
and
was sort
thank
of the
you.
party. Were we late?
Do you all enter?
Yes.
Okay. You notice when you enter that this treehouse is surprisingly spacious on the inside. The main room is a crowd of potion bottles, spell books, runes, plants, and small creatures of all kinds. But no one could classify the place as messy. It's clear if anyone moved a single item even an inch, the old fairy would notice. She is curious about your journey, asks, what you saw in the Sablewood, what you found in Hush on your trip here, who led you here, how did you know where to come? And the last question she has, a little out of the blue, she looks at Carrie and she says, "Have you imagined how you might die one day?"
Yes, absolutely.
Like
Old
what-
age.
Old
with
age,
a bunch
really?
of grandchildren. Slowly, playing with them out in the yard, and then just crawling back into the cave and going to sleep.
Such a big warrior like you to have a peaceful thought like that is, very
Mhm.
interesting.
Thank you.
She asked similar questions to each of you, so can each of you tell me how you think you're going to die? We'll start with Varian.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, it'll either be peaceful old age or getting stabbed through the chest by a giant scorpion salamander.
A giant scorpion salamander. Well, you've come to the right forest for that, she says. Marlo.
I believe I fall off a ladder trying to change a candle.
Oh my. Oh my, that's unfortunate. Garrick.
I see myself on a rock in the middle of an active volcano surrounded by lava and lifting up my fighting companions to safety while the rock slowly sinks down into the
What an
fire.
epic end. And you, Barnacle.
Blaze of glory, surrounded by foes, saving my friends. It's gonna be great.
She asks you to get the crate and bring it inside. I assume you might have done that right at the start, given that you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she asks you to open it up. And inside you find King Emeris's package. Inside his package lies a massive stone with a lion's face carved into it. Marlo, you recognize this as the keystone of the capital city's gate main archway. The Arcanist nods sagely as soon as she sees it, saying, "Of course the king would keep this delivery secret. If anyone knew your city was no longer warded, you would be conquered before sunrise." With this ominous warning, she starts to unfurl her treehouse yet again. She looks at you all, very serious now. "We must travel to the open vale to reinstate the ward. But such an effort of magic will attract dangerous creatures from the darkest reaches of the Sablewood. I'll need your help." And without even checking if she'll get your help, she proceeds as if you're following her. So do you guys want to follow her?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Why was it removed to begin with?
Yeah, I'm
The ward
confused
is
on
the
that.
ward is missing. And so the king, how did the ward run out to begin with? That's a good
Yeah.
question. Maybe the king has enemies.
Oh, like it got
We
took.
better get this fixed and back to him fast, she says.
Oh, yeah.
So on direction from the Arcanist, your carriage pulls into a mysterious clearing in the shape of a perfect circle. The only area of the Sablewood you've seen without trees to block out the sky. This is the open vale. The Arcanist describes the vale to you as a place used for strong ritual magic. It's where she first forged the ward pillars that reside on all four corners of Hush, keeping the village safe. She almost died in that ritual, she says, but is reluctant to say more for fear of angering the forgotten gods. Her antennae perk up in a disconcerting way. "This is good. Stop. Yes, here. Now, come help me. I'm old." This time she unfolds the carriage, as she did with her home, and stands over the crate, humming. Her body starts to glow brighter, flickering in the night. She says, "I will need an hour of time to prepare. You all enjoy the night air while you can. We'll be busy very soon." So, luckily, that's perfect time for a short rest. In a short rest, you can choose to do two things from the following. You can't do the same thing twice, so you have to do two different things. So you could tend to your wounds if you have any hit points that you've taken. You can clear a d4 of those. You can also help an ally clear a d4 hit points. If you have any stress, you can clear a d4 stress. If you have damaged armor, you can repair 2 armor slots. And if you prepare for what's ahead, you can gain a hope. So wounds, stress, armor, hope. Basically the main
And
4
is it-
commodities.
And is it one of those things we do?
You get to do 2, but not the same one twice. And I'll let you guys all roll and update your tokens. I don't need to watch you or have you announce it. I trust you all to go and do it. And a reminder, if you don't need to do anything, like you're already in good shape and you have a thing left over, you can help someone else. So that's everyone else do the things that you can do for yourself. And then if anyone has anything left over, you can let everyone know. You can let everyone know by just rolling initiative 1.
If we have something left over,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to be able to do all mine.
Okay.
Um,
So you got a couple of people that can help. Once you're done clearing hit points, clearing stress, gaining hope, or repairing armor, then you can have Marlo can help one of you and Varen can help another one of you.
nice rolls.
yeah, so great. So if somebody would fix my armor, I'd love that.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean-
how do you do that? Just roll or?
Just
No,
be
armor's
really
automatic. It's
careful with
automatically
it.
2 slots. So
Ah,
armor gets 2
okay.
slots. Hope gets 1. Wounds and stress get a d4.
Yep.
Okay, so Varian's done. Does anyone else need help? Marlo can help someone else.
I have a point of stress remaining.
There we go. Marlo, you can clear that for Barnacle.
Ooh.
Okay,
Will do.
very good.
You're right. That is a good song. I feel so much better.
All right, the Arcanist lets out a shrill cry. "The keystone has finally responded. Quickly, surround me. The ritual must begin or I'll lose the pathway. Hurry." And let me move you to a battle map for this. Da-da-da. These maps are by the Mad Cartographer, and they're actually perfect for the adventure. They actually did them for the adventure, it looks like. So that's cool.
Gotcha.
Okay. Oh, I need the Arcanist. Use for the Arcanist.
I want to see a picture of this Arcanist.
I know, right?
Butterfly.
That description sounded really cool.
7 foot
Hmm.
tall human firefly. I don't have anything really good for that. So
I hope he doesn't get canceled. Like the TV show.
Faye.
Well, we just hope that she's not shown out of order.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll just use this astral elf aristocrat for now. Sorry, it's not better. Put her right there. Okay, so you guys can be surrounding her. She's in the center here performing the ritual, and she asks you to protect her while she finishes it. Her body begins glowing brighter and brighter. Still,
I'm gonna hide on the perimeter if I can do that.
yeah, you can move up to the perimeter. Her body begins glowing brighter and brighter, still as her eyes roll backwards into her head, and the entire carriage lifts a foot off the ground. An unearthly cry echoes from the woods, alerted by the arcane energy. You feel a rumble as 4 ancient skeletons emerge from the ground.
I knew it.
4 ancient skeletons emerging from the ground, surrounding you guys. In the distance, 2 forest wraiths float ominously towards you. So, forest wraiths, there. And let me get the tracker. Oh, that's a good picture, Marlo. And here's a picture of your predicament.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Art not final.
Right. Okay, I think I'm at 0 actions, and I got 2 fear, I believe is what I got. So everyone, 2 if you want to go right away, 1 if you want to go whenever, and 0 if you want to delay till later.
So, Tom, I got a question for you. I got something that's not related to so much of an action, like my rage. Can I just pop that, or does that count as an action? Or
So I try to judge on those. Anything that I put a -F after, like you're unstoppable, I think is probably meant to be free. You can do it in addition to doing other stuff.
Roger.
So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know for
So I'm
sure.
gonna
They
go
weren't
ahead and
they weren't
pop
real.
that.
That's one thing that the rules wording could use some cleaning up for sure, but you'd expect that early in the game. Okay, so you're gonna do unstoppable when your turn. I think you have to do that when your turn comes up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, first one to go. Marlo, you want to go first?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
Marlo will move over here, and I think I can get 3, the northern, like the east, west, and northern one if I, do this guy.
Rain of Blades. So you got to spend 2 hope to do it. All enemies within 30 feet of you. Yeah.
Horrible rolls.
I threw out a number 8 over here. This would be a D8 on the die. On the 8th side is a countdown for something that's going to happen. Basically, it's counting down the Firefly performing the ritual. So that needs to get down to 0 to be successful. And it's going to go...
Okay.
It will tick down 1 number every time an adversary is taken down. You might know that there's not 8 adversaries, so there might be more coming. It'll tick up every time the Whitefire Arcanist is hit with an attack. Okay.
So, trying to do Primal Foundation so I can re-roll that 1.
Okay.
If I can
Reroll
do
any
that.
number of damage dice, okay?
Let's see here. Do you just want me to roll do the macro again, or just?
Sure, you can do the macro. We'll use the damage roll from that. Ooh, nice roll. Nice reroll.
There we go. Much better.
All right. So using the first damage you got, or first attack, you got over 20 with fear. Add a fear to that. And 1 action. And you got the north one, the east one, and the west one. For the damage will be the same to all of them, so it'll be 9 damage to all of them. And I think 9 damage is enough to take all of them out.
Wow.
2,
Yeah.
3 taken out. Something else happens there. Oh, the countdown goes down 3, so down to 5. Okay. Anything else, Marlo?
Yeah, I'm going to move for cover down over here. How much can we move? I was not quite
About
clear
30
on
feet. Yeah, you can just do 30 feet. You can dash 30 feet. The rules on movement were a little odd, so I'm not positive that's the intent of how movement works, but they do it kind of like you can play not on a grid, just theater of the mind. And so you can do a skill check to move like anywhere, or you can move close freely, which is 30 feet.
I was talking like sides of paper and pencils, and I was like,
so close would be like a pencil length. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, after Marlo, you roll with fear, so they're going to go next, and we'll have the first of these 2 wraiths is going to go. It will do 3, 5, 6. It will close down here to Garrick, and then it's going to do. Well, that's got a range of 30 feet, so it won't close. Sorry, it's going to do a memory delve. Spend fear. Okay, it does find a melee. Okay, and I'm going to spend 1 of my fears. I'm going to take my actions down to 0, spend the fear down to 2, and then do this memory delve on Garrick. That's a 15 versus your evasion, Garrick. It flies into melee and places its hand on your cheek, Describe a terrifying moment from your childhood, Garrick.
Terrifying moment from my childhood. Wow. There was this time when I was in bed when I heard shouts down in the cellar and sprinted down to see what was happening. But the house was empty.
You take 4 magic damage, and I think your armor works on magic, and I think if you reduce it to 0 if you wanted to, you would take not even a stress. But if you don't use your armor, you take 1 stress from that, because that's less than your minor threshold. But the bad part is that you're vulnerable until your next rest, which means everything that attacks you will have advantage to attack you. Okay, that one's done. And then it's going to be back to you guys, and it looks like Carrie wants to go. Go ahead, Carrie.
I'm going to. I was wondering if you attacked me, then I'd have to take all my stuff off, right? Because it wouldn't start pop until my turn.
Right.
Okay. So I will move here. Well, that said, do you want me to re-roll it again right now? I could do.
No. I don't think there's anything for you to roll, actually.
No, yeah, the 4 dice is how many damage actions I get until I lose.
Yeah, but it starts at 4 all the time.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, you use a 4-sided die to count it down, but you always start with 4.
Oh. Okay, I see. I misread it because I was like, wow, that could really suck if you rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just peter out really quick. All right, I'll move here and I'll see if the Wraith is susceptible to battle axe damage.
Okay. It does look incorporeal, so it might not be. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I don't know any better.
Oh, no.
So we'll do a 9. Do I get anything on that? No. So 9
9
to
missed.
hit. All right. So I'll tell everybody it's a free action that my battle axe didn't seem to hurt it.
Now it's 9 with fear, so now it's their turn. And that Wraith's already gone, so the other Wraith is going to close in. Oh, you left your Arcanist uncovered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't get to her, but it's going to go ahead and fire a life drain at the Arcanist. A 13 is a hit, so that's going to count the token back up 1. And it's done. And that was its action.
Does that stress count?
Does what stress count?
Can I use the I am your shield for?
Yes, you may.
For her?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know because it was an action. It was a I am your shield. So I will take 10. I'll just take it. So 1 point of hit point.
Okay. Then back to you guys, and it's going to be Varian.
Okay. I think upon hearing that the wraiths are kind of hard to hit, I'm going to come here and shoot at this skeleton guy towards the bottom.
Okay.
With my short bow. Well, no, I take that back. I'll try to do the vicious entangle.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Boop.
It's with fear. Okay, so you got a what? 12 with fear?
Yeah.
12 with fear against these skeletons.
Well, I can't use a.
That's a hit.
Oh, okay.
You restrain it. You do 1 point of damage to it. The skeleton has a minor threshold of 1, so it takes 1 hit point. And that's not quite enough to kill it, but you have it restrained. So for me to get rid of the restrained, I'd have to use a fear, basically. And that restrained.
Oh, okay, I see.
Use that for that. Okay. And you can finish your move where you want, and then they're going to go next because you rolled with fear. So that skeleton that's restrained, I guess I'll use a fear to unrestrain him, but that's it for him. And then it's back to you guys, Barnacle.
All right. Do I know anything about what this incorporeal means? Like, does it tend to mean less damage?
Yeah, it tends to mean like half damage for physical. If you happen to have magical, it would be full.
I don't believe I have anything magical. Yeah, it's all physical, but I can try to do more physical. So what I will do is I will pop out of the shadows. I kind of fade into the shadows and I shadow step, but that requires a spellcast trait, it says, or a spellcast roll.
Oh, really?
So I must do a finesse roll. Do I know what I need to get?
I don't think Shadow Stepper requires that. I think you just have to spend 1 stress and you can do it.
Okay. It says the trait you'll use when making a spellcast roll is finesse, but maybe not.
Oh, I think that is if you have any other powers that are spells.
Okay. Okay.
That being the subclass for your rogue, it tells you what your spellcasting trait is.
Okay.
And that's
Great.
limited play
Even
if you had
better.
spells. Yeah.
So then I will reappear over here. Well, I say haha after I attack, but you know. And I will try to attack being hidden. I'm going to try to, knowing that it's going to subtract my damage, I'm going to take a point of stress and I'm going to attack it with my tongue.
Cool.
And lash out at it, which increases the damage. Which actually means I don't have to be right next to it. So I'll be a little further away. And so I will fire my tongue off at it and try to attack it. So that is a 12, and I get to add d6 to it. So 14.
You get to add all the numbers together, so it's 19 before you roll your d6.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 19. Yeah, right.
With fear?
With fear.
Okay.
Sadly.
That's definitely a hit.
And then that's going to be 11 damage, I think.
Yeah. Okay, 11 becomes 5, which is past the minor threshold, so 1 point of damage.
I forgot to add the extra sneak attack because I don't love making checks before I roll because it's really easy to forget all that stuff. But anyway.
Okay. You roll a fear, so they're going to go now. And I'm actually going to spend 1 fear. Spend a fear down to 3. And that's going to bring forth 2 more skeletons erupt out of the ground. There. And this skeleton to the south is already gone. So these ones that just came, one of them will go. 1 to the north. 2, 3, 4. We'll come to here, attack your Arcanist. The Rusted Sword. Hitting for 12, which increases this.
I will take more stress.
Okay, so it does not increase it. And you take the 12 damage instead, which goes down to
So
10 because of your
if I
strength.
understand this right, Tom, it drops to 10 because of my strength.
Yep.
And then, or does it drop to 6? Well, anyways, it's below my minor threshold.
It drops to 10, which is above your minor threshold.
But it's half damage because I'm resistant to physical damage.
Oh, right. Yes. So 10 down to 5, and then you just take 1 stress.
Yep. Okay.
So add another stress, and you don't count down the timer doesn't go back up. And that was my 1 action. It's back to you guys' turn. And next one is Garrick.
Eric says, my blade might be blunted, but it'll cut you well enough, and swings at that wraith with using 1 hope for what you call it.
Your experience.
Hit him hard, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, over 20 with hope. So make sure you had a hope for your guy, and you're gonna do 5 points of physical damage. It looks like.
Looks like it.
So I'll do 2, but they only have a threshold of 1, so 1 damage. All right. After you, you rolled with hope, so it doesn't go back to them. They do get an action. Then I'm going to reset everyone, so you can all adjust your when you want to go thing, if you don't want to go right away. But it's still with you
need
guys.
to take out that skeleton.
And we'll go ahead and go. Does anyone have a strong preference, or is Carrie first?
So
Carrie can go first.
Marlowe or Carrie.
Carrie, go ahead.
All right. Carrie will do battle axe on the skeleton. It's 14
Hit.
with fear. Yeah. All right. That's 14 with fear.
Hit.
And then 16 points of damage.
Ooh, wow. You obliterate that skeleton in 1 shot. Marker goes down to 4. And finish your move where you want. But since you had fear, they'll go next. So now they're going to go. Got 1 action to go. I got 2 fear. I'm going to use this 2 of the fear. No. Add 2 tokens to the action tracker with 1 fear. So I'm going to lower my fear down to 3. Add 2 more tokens to go up to 3. So now I can take 3 actions in theory. And we have this wraith that's by Garrick, who's vulnerable. It's going to go ahead and pass through Garrick, which takes 2 fear. So now I'm down to 1 fear. And Garrick, that's a 21 to hit you. So it passes through you, pushes the soul from your body out of your body momentarily. You can't act till the ritual ticks down 1. So you will not be able to act until that ritual goes from 4 down to 3. And that was its turn. Now I have 2 actions left. And that'll be the 2 skeletons. It's weird. So no actions, but I think they can still attack you. So this skeleton rushes forward to attack Garrick's now soulless body. Garrick can take no actions to help himself. It strikes. Oh my god. Strikes at Garrick, hitting for 14 24.
I will take that. Is there no limit to my reactions?
Just your stress that's building
Yeah.
every time.
So I will take that stress, which is 12, which is half the 6. So I will just take stress.
Correct.
All right.
So you should take a stress to use the power and another stress for the damage you took. Because the power uses a stress every time.
Okay.
So make sure you're knocking it up too when you're doing that. There you go. Okay. I blocked that one, and now I'm down to 1 action left. The other one to the south here is going to go charging forward towards Marlowe. Attacking Marlowe with a rusted sword. It's a 17 to hit Marlowe for 16 physical damage, Marlowe.
Ouch. Yeah, I will use an armor. That reduces it by 5, I think. Is that correct? I don't know.
Marlowe, your armor's 5, yep.
Yep. So
Down to 11, which is
11.
major, where you take 2 hit points.
So actually, did that even help using an armor?
Yeah, because it'd be severe. Otherwise, you take 3 hit points.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that's 2, right? Okay, 2 hit points. Got it.
Yep. And mark off 1 armor. And did I mark off that fear? I lost track. I'm going to mark off a fear at the very end and add 2 more skeletons. And 0 fear and 0 actions. So another 2 skeletons erupt out of the earth over here and over here. And that was all my turns. And all of you want to go. Who really wants to go? Marlowe, is that okay?
So who's gone already?
Yeah, I'll go.
Carrie's gone already. It's the only one this round. Okay, Marlowe, go ahead.
Okay. Ooh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna do chaos on the northwestern wraith dude.
Okay.
So that's a 17.
17 hit
or
with fear.
10.
Okay, 10 magic. That's good. That's his medium threshold, so he's going to take 2 damage from that. Up to 3 hit points of damage now. Halfway dead.
And that's, you said there is no such thing as attacks of opportunity, right?
Correct, as far as I know.
Okay, I'm going to try to get out of here.
Okay,
that's it.
Then they'll go next. And I'm going to have this Wraith over here fighting Barnacle. Go ahead and, well, it doesn't care about Barnacle. It's going to shoot a life. Sorry, Barnacle. It's going to shoot a life drain at Varian, who's out in the way there. A 14 versus Varian's evasion of 13, so that's a hit, Varian, for 9 magic damage.
But would I have to use 1 armor to be able to
If you use
that?
1 armor, that drop it down to 6, which would be only 1 hit point.
So using armor doesn't boost my evasion.
Correct.
To avoid it entirely.
Right, no. He hit your evasion, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can soak up some of those 9 hit points or 9 damage that he did with your armor. And given that you're wearing armor that has armor value of 3, you could take it from 9 down to 6 with 1 armor slot.
Okay, I see.
And that would give you could take it from 6 down to 3 with 2 armor slots. So you got a choice. Spend 1 armor slot and take 1 hit point. Spend 2 armor slots and take 1 stress. Spend no armor slots and take 2 hit points.
I'll spend 1 and take 1 hit point.
Okay. All right. That one's done. And Ashton's down to 0 now. And then Marlowe's gone. Varian, Barnacle, you guys got a preference?
No, it's fine. You can go first.
Go ahead, Varian.
All right. I think I need a little bit of extra space. Would this be like a far enough away to attack this one with the bow?
You can attack it with a bow from here if you want.
Oh, the range of the bow doesn't imply that you have to be that far away?
Not a minimum range, no. That's its maximum range.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna be. Well, I do kind of want to. I'll be right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go after this particular Skelevoy, with a short bow attack. Oop, and I was thinking about adding the aim to it.
So you're at 9 now. Generally, you have to add the aim before you roll, but I'll let you do it this time after your roll.
Oh, okay.
But in the future, you want to announce it before, so you could get it up to 11 by spending 1 hope, which may or may not.
Well, since you're supposed to announce it in advance, I'll do it.
That's good because you went to hit anyway, so it worked out in your favor. Okay, so you missed with that attack. Ooh, so that's a miss, even though you missed with hope. So they get to go now, and they have 1 action, 1 fear. So, let's see. I need to keep track of which one of these guys have gone. I think both the Wraiths have gone. So Skeleton's going to come charging down from the north to attack Marlowe. with a rusted sword, missing Marlowe, and then back to Barnacle.
Okay, so Barnacle, I'm going to make you pay for that. So I will kind of move and hide, and I will lash out with my tongue again, taking another stress, because I'm going to make her regret it. So I'm going to attack with my tongue, and I'm going to use my... I'm going to boost the sneak attack with my hope twice. And I want to make it. Yeah, I'm hidden. We'll just hope that works. All right. So attacking with my dagger. It's a 12 plus the d6 for advantage. That's a 15.
That's a hit with fear.
All right, and then the damage is atrocious. It's 1
boy,
plus
yeah.
1 plus 1 plus 5.
Yeah.
What, 8?
Yeah.
Wow.
8.
I guess that happens.
8 is past the minor threshold, so 1 point of damage. Okay, after Barnacle, who hit but with fear, that means they get to go. 1 action, and I'm going to have that other skeleton. I'm charging down onto Carrie. There, rusted sword onto you, Carrie. A 6 is a miss, and I'm also going to go ahead and spend
is
1.
it a miss?
Oh, no, you're right. Carrie, you're wearing big, heavy armor. 6 actually hits you.
Yeah.
11 physical.
All right. So
1 hit point if you spend no armor. Oh, but you're taking half of that, so
half
1
of that,
stress.
so it's
1 stress.
is that how? So can you explain how's the stress work?
Okay, so if your stress gets maxed out, right now you're at 4,
Yeah.
and you're going to go up to 5, and that's your max. Now, anytime you would take stress, you instead take a hit point of damage.
Okay. All right. And so if you're less than minor, you take stress.
Correct.
So instead of if you're below your minor amount, you take a point of stress?
Correct.
Ah, okay.
Don't forget, you guys are all carrying minor stamina potions, which will reduce stress damage.
Is that an action to drink it, or is it just a thing you do?
Oh, good question. I don't know the rule for that. We'll say
Bonus
it's
action.
We'll say it's just a
I'll
thing you
look
do.
it up. Or...
Yeah, look it up. Let's
Hmm.
see. That was Carrie. I'm spending a fear. I already did the action. I'm spending a fear to bring in some more skeletons. They're starting to overwhelm you. 2 more skeletons to the south there. And Gary, your turn.
Eric is still hearing his Auntie K call to him from the light and tell him that his soul is not.
No one's knocked down a skeleton,
quite yet.
have they? Okay. So yeah, you're waiting still. And we'll take everyone down, and everyone can redo their initiative.
So wait, we have to take down a skeleton for you to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something. Or a wraith. Skeleton or a wraith.
Or, yeah.
Either way. Okay. Looks like everyone wants to go. I'm going to mix it up here a little bit. You guys can tell me if it's different. Vertical, go ahead.
Sure. I will repeat again, though at this point I only have 1 extra hope to use, but I'll use a hope on sneak attack again and hope that I do better. Let's see. Stress is running a little high, and I rolled so terribly, so I'll just actually move to attack out of hiding, and I will, let's see how that goes. So dagger, spending 1 hope. So that looks like a good hit.
Oh yeah, over
Nice.
20 with fear.
So I won't bother with the extra d6, and then the damage is going to be 8 plus 4 is 12.
12. That's past his medium or major threshold, so he's going to take 2 damage.
Dead yet?
Not quite dead yet.
All right, and I've unfortunately rolled with fear yet again.
Yep. Okay. So that was Barnacle rolling with fear. Now I added the monsters to the tracker. They get 1 action. I already put the fear in there, I thought. Yeah. So I'll just have that wraith attack back onto Barnacle with a pass through.
That's right. That's right.
Ignore that. I can't do that. I need 2 fear to do that. So let's do memory delve instead. 1 fear to do that. We use the first attack roll when I get a 60 attack. I bet that misses you. It does. So it is all done. And Carrie, you can go.
All right. I don't know if there's attack of opportunity.
There's not.
All right. I will move there, and I will attack the skeleton to the south of Valerian. Sorry, Varian. Sorry, wrong movie. All right. Let's roll good. Go. Come on.
Fine, good.
Oh. Just just so I'm just gonna take, like I would have sent you flowers, kind of thing. I was gonna hit that skeleton and hit everything else.
Oh, with a whirlwind attack?
With the whirlwind.
That would've
So
been
I'm
so
guessing
nice.
there's no way for me to pump it up. So there's
There's no way.
Kate.
No.
And can I free action take this potion?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find the rules for it.
Okay, so that was with fear, so I'm back up to 101.
Yes.
Oh, nice roll on that stress roll. I have the other Wraith go, and I'm going to have him, see, he's already got Garrick, so I'm going to have him step forward here, attack Carrie with a Memory Delve on Carrie. That's a 18 to hit you, Carrie. It's going to do 6 magic damage to you.
All right. I will just spend 6. I'll take 6 armor to get. So I just get 1 stress, right?
Yeah, it's just 1 stress. It's below your minor threshold, so you just got 1 stress.
All right. I'll do that.
Okay, but it makes you vulnerable until your next rest, which means everything attacking you will have advantage on their attack rolls, although they don't need it with your armor class of 5 or your evasion of 5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Wraith, and that takes everything down for the Wraiths. So now we're back to you guys. Marlo, go ahead.
Okay. Marlo will try attacking this southern. Oh, I'm sorry. The closest but southern skeleton, the hurt
Okay.
one.
Okay.
With just my dual staff. Dag nabbit.
With fear.
Over 20, but with fear for
That's a hit.
8.
Oh, 8. You obliterate that skeleton, which takes the timer down
Yay.
1, which means, Gary,
awesome.
you can now take actions again. 3 on the timer now. Getting close. Getting close. That was Marlo. Now they go. Okay. Additional d6 damage. Okay, so I'm going to have this skeleton south charge forward to attack Marlo with a rusted sword. It's going to do extra damage with a fear attack. Oh, wow. But it misses. A 6 misses Marlo. Evasion of 9. And they are done. Back to you guys. Varian.
Alrighty, I have a question for you. Well, for Vicious Entangle, would I know, based on the familiarity of my magic or how the battle has been happening with this Wraith, that if I targeted the Wraith, it would not be able to entangle it?
Good question. I will say it does magically.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, it does do physical damage, so I was anticipating maybe the damage wouldn't take, but...
It'll take half the damage, and you can still restrain it.
All right, cool. I am going to attempt to viciously entangle that Wraith, and if it does hit, I'll spend the hope to restrain any enemies very close to that target.
Oh, nice. Okay. Got a 10 on that.
No, if that would hit.
Does not.
Damn.
But not with fear, so that's good. But since you
Right.
miss, it does go back to me.
Yeesh.
And I will have the skeleton in the south, Varian, charge up on Varian, attack you with a rusted sword. 16 to hit you for 14 damage.
I'm sorry, say that again.
6 hit you for 14, so that'd be 3 hit points, or if you spend an armor, you could do 2 hit points.
Yeah, I'll do that.
2 armor, you could do 1 hit point.
Yeah, I'll do the 2.
Okay, then after that attack comes Garrick.
Eric is going to snap into his senses and try and encircle a little better
Okay.
the person we're trying to protect. And then I'm going to swing at this skeleton. And that is a, 12 with fear?
12 with fear. 12 is a hit.
Asking for a friend, but is it possible to roll with hope?
Okay, so let's see, 8 points of physical damage. That kills that skeleton, which drops you down to 2 on your countdown timer. Okay, and then since you roll fear, back to their turn. They got 1 fear, 1 action. We'll do the skeleton to the north of the Wraith. It will come here to attack the leader, or the Firefly, with a rusted sword. And that is a miss.
Thank goodness.
And then that was 1 action. So back to you guys. Oh, that'd be the end of the round, actually. That's the one weird thing about the initiative is like not all of them get to go before you guys get to start getting going again. Once they have more creatures than you guys have. So everyone roll your initiative again with what you might want to do. Oh, I can just do that. That's a fast way. Nice. And again, everyone wants to go right away. So Barnacle, go ahead.
All right. I am ducking in and out of the forest, moving in unpredictable ways. And then eventually I try to stab this thing. I have no hope.
Hopping from tree to tree.
other than the metaphorical one, yeah, using my tongue to swing under a branch and attack it. So I'm just gonna plain old attack unless someone wants to throw hope my way.
I need wine.
Yeah, I will dagger it. That is should hit 13 but
Surprisingly, with
15.
fear.
But with fear again.
Yeah.
For 9 damage.
9. Okay, that is going to be... Threshold's 1 for minor, so that's 1 hit point of damage. Almost there. I think one more hit,
So
take him
close.
down. That is Barnacle, who rolled with fear. Now I have 2 fear and 1 action. And so I'll go ahead and do that Wraith attacking Barnacle back with a... Oh, I got 1 fear? Yeah, it'll do a Memory Delve on you, Barnacle. Spend 1 fear, get a 19 to hit, doing 4 magic damage.
Okay, so I can bring that down?
Yeah, if you have armor, you can bring that down. Your armor is 3, so you bring it down to 1. But yeah, so you're either going to take 1 stress or 1 hit point. 1 stress and 1 armor, or 1 hit point.
Well, I guess I'll let it be the hit point. That's fine.
Okay, and then describe a terrifying moment from your childhood.
Oh yeah, this one time when these bunch of big brutes, they tossed me in the water. They're like, frogs can swim, right? And they just chucked me in there, and it was so scary, and I totally forgot what I was doing, and I sank right to the bottom, and I nearly lost my mind until I remembered that I could actually breathe underwater. But from that day, I swore I'm just walking through this stuff. I'm not swimming.
All right, and now you are vulnerable, which means they have advantage on attacks against you. That's that. The Wraith is done. They're down to 0 actions. Back to you guys. Gary, go ahead.
All right. I will check what's wrong with my handle on my axe, and I will swing it at the skeleton to the south, and I will roll with hope higher than fear, and it will both be 12s.
Oh, you got a crit. Look at that. Is that our first crit?
Finally!
Holy cow.
Okay.
Okay. So a crit, you're going to gain a hope. You're going to clear a stress. You're going to do 6 points of damage plus another 10. So 16 damage. Plus you're currently unstoppable, right?
Yes.
So
So another D6.
Yeah, so 16 and 4 is 20 damage. I don't know if that D6 gets added again. I don't think it does. But 20 is enough to be over their threshold. And
I would like to spend
1 hope to whirlwind.
1 hope.
Boom. Okay, spend that hope that you just gained and use that hit roll against everything in range. You do half your damage. You did 20, so you can do 10 damage to everything in range. So you kill 1 skeleton, 2 skeletons, 3 skeletons. The ritual completes, and you guys are victorious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
The ritual ends when the time clicks down to 0. The wraiths disperse. The skeletons crumble back down into the ground. As you deliver a powerful blow, the ritual ends. The carriage comes falling to the ground as the keystone vibrates with arcane energy. Then all at once, a soundless explosion erupts from the Whitefire Arcanist, dissipating any last enemies who might remain. The clearing is quiet once again. Back inside... fast forwarding. Back inside the treehouse, but not but an hour later, the keystone sits suspended carefully above a rumbling fire in the hearth. The Arcanist, who looks even older now than she did before, sits cross-legged in an overstuffed chair. There's an exhaustion in her voice as she speaks. You fought hard. I'm not surprised, of course. The king keeps good company. I'm very glad you were there. The keystone will need a week, maybe more, to allow the magic to settle. I'll need to watch it carefully to ensure nothing cracks or becomes sentient or anything of the like. You know how it is. And in the meantime, after you rest and gather yourselves, have a nice hot meal and a warm bath. I have one more thing to ask of you. We pull out of the Arcanist's home... Oh, so this is camera direction. We pull out of the Arcanist's home, out of the forest itself, to view the verdant expanse from above and see twisting stone spires breaking through the tree line, each with a flame flickering within the tower like a beacon. The Arcanist continues. There's a spire just west of here, maybe a few hours' walk. I felt it on the way to the ritual. Its power was strange. The light felt weaker than it should be. I think something might be terribly wrong with the Spire Keeper, and I fear what will happen if its fire is extinguished altogether. When you're ready, come back and I'll give you my map so you can make it there safely. It's good to have heroes in the SABLEWOOD again, and that's where we're going to end the session for today. That was it. Nicely done.
Daggerheart.
That was Daggerheart. So what did you guys think?
complicated.
Oh, it does feel complicated to me.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I have like a deck of cards out that I'm using as like tokens. I
Yeah.
think those tokens are like, you got to use something.
Oh my
like
gosh.
like it's a lot more effective as an actual table game rather than online.
Yes.
It does feel that
Yeah.
way a little bit. Yeah, it does. The amount of tracking going back and forth in initiative just feels like it really slows down initiative.
I mean, it was interesting how I was curious how that fear mechanic would work. And I mean, you went a lot,
Hmm.
and it's one thing if it's a moderate fight. Like this is a fight where you're sort of supposed to recycle monsters, so they're
Yeah.
not atrocious threats.
Yeah.
But if they had actually been like really hard hitters, I mean, you would just
Right.
clean us out, right? Because you would go so much more often. Instead of going half the time, you were going 95% of the time, right? You were going after one of us.
Yeah.
And that ends up being a lot of attacks and damage if they're very hard hitting. And in this
Yeah.
fight, it didn't seem terrible, but it could
Like
have been
maybe
really
it
bad.
maybe it should be like if somebody rolls with fear during a battle, it can either be the other person's turn or they take a fear, you know what I mean? Rather than both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a suggestion I would make.
Yeah.
Like,
or
can
or
you-
it was just that we had really horrible rolls like all the time and it's not normally that bad, but
Yeah.
does the DM have to follow any sort of initiative, or can they just keep going with the same guy over and over again if they have the fear?
In theory, I could have kept doing the wraiths over and over again the way the
Yeah.
rules are written, which that's the one thing I would change is like, yeah, you can go in any order, but you shouldn't have one person just go over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like if the party
If it
just
had
had a super
off, right?
optimized fighter, wouldn't it make sense for that fighter to just go over and over? But that's no fun. You know, that's no fun for a group of players.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
I kind of feel like maybe they're like I think the game is stressed as being a very like collaborative narrative.
yeah.
So ideally your DM wouldn't be abusing an overpowered character in that way because in a true story fight, it's not like all those other characters wouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah. I think every
So-
game suffers online to some extent. I think this one might suffer more than others.
Yeah.
You really need the collaboration. You need to be like talking to each other out of combat about plans.
Maybe if you had a special tool set that helped you, it might be a little different. But
yeah.
I also thought it was interesting for my character. They've gone the route where I can essentially just perma-hide as far as I can tell. I can hide while I'm moving and I can move while I'm attacking. And there's nothing really saying that I have to make a roll. I can just do it as I read the rogue. So I'm just always attacking with advantage because this is an area in which I can hide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not for everybody. It also means in a different type of encounter, I'm not doing that ever.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
it's
If it was a wide open
sometimes,
room,
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other times, never, right? So that's an inconsistent kind of capability. Now, if I could also be attacking someone that's adjacent to somebody, so maybe it's not terrible, but it's just interesting that I can kind of just move around, and there's no opportunity attacks. I can literally go up next to them and then away and all that. And it's no problem.
Yeah. There's a lot to track with the. You basically have 4 resources. You got your armor resources, your stress, your hit points, and your hope. So you need to be like tracking continuously those 4 resources. One of them counts differently than the others. So that's no good.
Right.
That's
I think
fixable.
online, Tom. I think online, interactive overlay. Not almost like a HUD. Not what's around.
Mm-hmm.
Not around the token right now, but
Mhm.
almost like on the fringe
Yeah.
of your. You could track it and make it a little bit larger, right?
Yeah.
And with descriptions on it, and
I feel like I want
be
to
able
set
to get
of
around that.
even at the table. I feel like I either want like bins of tokens or I want like a roller where I could like roll my, I could roll from 0 to 1 to 3 or like just a set of those that are color coded or labeled.
So I actually play I can't even remember what campaign setting it is. Oh, so we're going back and doing the Elemental, the 3rd edition or whatever module, and we, instead of advantage, right? We get cards. So we get every session we get dealt 3 cards. So we do use cards as with the D20 interface, which I wonder if they could add that too. our gameplay, and you'd have those cards, and once you played them and laid them out on the screen, you lose them, right? And they go into the vault, which I'm reading. So maybe that card interface for for the Roll20.
Oh, for like your domain cards.
Yeah, wonder if that might add some flavor to it, or make it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
No.
I'd like to see them try some other options. There's definitely more to track than what they seem to want. If the intent of when you think of what Critical Role is, what Darrington Press is, and how they advertise this game, then it should be fun and quick and simple and lighthearted. This is, to me, more like what MCDM's striving to do. And it's fun, but it requires, you're going to have to really develop some expertise, and you're going to really want to tinker with this stuff. Is that really the game they want to build? I think this could be really fun if you play enough sessions to where you get good at it, right? Like you could be powering all kinds of abilities, and it sounds like you can buy adventures, swap out different features and things like that, and get more as you level up. So there's a lot of kind of tuning you can do, and that's all well and good if you want that kind of a game. I just don't know that that's the kind of game they want.
Yeah, it feels like, they want it to be story driven and collaboratively created, and you want the mechanics to kind of get out of the way.
Yeah.
A game like that, it seems like straight hit points is the way to go.
Yeah.
Nice, simple.
Yeah.
And you do the world building and the story building together, and you're not worried about all the minutia of all the stress and hit points and armor and everything.
Yes.
Interesting.
There's parts that seem like they're really loose in narrative. This guy Garrick has a battle strategist, and he can do things. It suggests doing shoves and trips and grapples and making rolls to that, and getting a damage because you do that, an advantage because you do that. There's no rules for those specific things, so I guess the intent is you just kind of make stuff up and swing from the chandeliers and grab people and that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, you've got all these resources and all this nitty gritty stuff too. So it almost feels like there's a little bit of friction between the two intents there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's for me, I can spend hope to say like, oh, they don't see me coming, which in theory I should be sort of a little more narrative, and that adds my bonus to attack. But I mean, I kind of want my hope to sneak attack, right? And so it's that thing of like, are you creating a game that optimizers sink their teeth into, or you're creating a narrative game? And they're trying to have it both ways, and I'm not sure they're going to accomplish that.
Yeah,
for their audience.
I don't feel like
Was that in?
like Critical Role coming to play a game. It feels like it'd be really complicated for someone coming to a tabletop role-playing game fresh, if that's the audience they want. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Is what is their goal for their audience? Do they want to engender brand new players from scratch, or pull people away from D&D?
Yeah, and I'd kind of imagine that this would be the game that they might say like, hey, we're going to stream this. This is our game. This is the Critical Role game. But maybe it's not. Maybe this is just a game, and they've got other ideas that they're planning to go off of that,
It'd be real interesting to see what their plans are, yeah.
Well, yeah, that Cthulhu game, I think that's their backup game, right?
You mean Candela?
Yeah, I think that's their... I think they've got enough positive. I'd like to see them go back to that Wild Wild West one. I thought that was a great setting that they should have went further with.
I'm just curious if this is a RPG that they're creating, or is this the RPG, right?
Yeah. What are they going to do the next season of Critical Role?
Right.
Will it be this?
Well, and do they want this for the next 5 years of Critical Role to be playing this game?
Right.
Yep.
Is this a major push, or is this a game, right? Like, because you could release this as a box set, and maybe you have one expansion, kind of like Free League does a game system, right? Like they do a thing and then they do another thing, and that's totally perfect. That's great. But if that's the kind of thing, then this could be a meatier game, and forget your original goals of being story heavy, and this is a kind of more tactical thing. And then your next game can be whatever you want it to be. But if this is the Critical Role game, then it becomes much more important to have it be the kind of game that your audience is going to want out of you.
Right.
I think.
I mean, I do really like the idea of you get to pick your experiences and also interpret how those apply to whatever you're attempting to do. Like, I do think that element is very kind of story focused.
Yeah, they're trying to be
Yeah.
very story focused on a lot of things.
But the play of like whether you can actually do those things based on how much hope you have
Uh-huh.
makes it harder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
there's a
didn't
lot of
really
currencies.
replenish it, did we?
I was
Did
really
anybody really replenish hope?
like
Oh, well, you
Early
guys were
on.
rolling with fear
Yeah.
so often. You didn't have a lot
Yeah.
of hope.
and mine would often be like if I did gain it, I had just spent one, so it was just kind of like maintaining.
I was really surprised how much detail of the world was in the playtest.
Mm.
It seemed
Yeah.
it was interesting to compare and contrast this playtest with the MCDMs too. It feels
Yeah.
like they're so much closer to having a finished product with this, and MCDM is trying things with theirs, and but they're both supposed to be out at the same time, like next year, right? So
I mean,
I can't wait for the next
MCDM has a lot of world available. It's just I think
they just
it's
haven't published it yet, right?
they have to decide if they want to write it up, right? But we see that in their other products, they've had the world shine in bits and pieces here and there. But
Yeah, so I was really surprised they wrote up so much of the world in this playtest. It's like, is that really what you don't need playtesting of a world description? That's really odd to put that out there.
I couldn't
Is
believe
this-
the playtest was this big. I mean,
Yeah.
what is it? 377 pages or
Yeah,
something like that?
and a lot of it's world
Amazing.
description.
Is this world torn from Critical Role campaign, or
I
is
think it's
this
different. I think it's new.
something that's new?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's new, brand new. But there's obviously been a lot of work put into it.
sure. I found the world kind of enchanting.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole Critical Role feel of things.
Mm-hmm.
The worlds are interesting. They're different. They feel unique. They feel Matt
I definitely want
Mercer-ish,
to watch the cartoon.
for lack of a better word.
Right, the cartoon of this would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see our characters, do really neat things and have cool stories. I like the idea of it seems like it's a more magical world by default.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way that it's more magical. I also like that it's not grimdark, as so many things are these days.
Yeah. It's you really hit the nail on the head though with the friction between how complicated the actual combats are versus how abstract things outside of combat are. It's like they don't even have gold pieces,
Yeah.
but you're calculating hope and fear, and they're so focused on that.
And it's
weird
hard.
that the DM rolls a different die. Like
Yeah.
you roll a d20 to hit us, but we roll 2d6 to hit you.
2d12, and the DM when the DM has advantage, they roll 2d20 and take the better one. You roll an extra d6.
Yeah.
That's all odd.
So
I definitely like games that are not quite that asymmetric. Asymmetry is good for building creatures, for sure. You don't want to, invest as much into building a creature as you do a character. The creatures are so simple. When I click on a token, I've got like 5 buttons to press. I got initiative button I made. I got a button that whispers to me their defenses, picture button, and then, a few moves. And that's it.
So is it harder
I'm
to DM?
fascinated by the asymmetrical roles. I think that's a really cool feature because you don't need all that sort of complexity.
Yeah, you don't need the
behind
complexity.
the
It's just a little
DM's
weird that
roles.
it's completely different dice rolling, even.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I
can
thought.
see it taking some
It's
getting used to.
Really? It doesn't
Well, I
matter.
mean, and it's fine. I think mathematically, it's great. It's just, again, whether that's the feel of the game that you're looking for, because it drives it feel. It occupies a different headspace, right? It's not a narrative headspace.
Yeah.
And even the initiative, I think, is a little. I don't know that it gets the feel they're looking for with the 0-1-2 type system. I almost feel like Shadow of the Demon Lord with its fast or slow is kind of almost easier.
Yeah, the 0-1-2 was just me. It was just me coming up with a way for you to tell me.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that was just me telling. You
Like
guys
in
could go
real life, you would be putting your token into the action area, and then
In real
and
life,
then they
you
would
guys-
ask, "Okay, with that token, what do you want to do?"
in real life, we would have a discussion every single time and decide who goes next.
Okay.
And the 1, 2, and 3 is just a way to indicate:
Gotcha.
do you want to go next
Yeah.
or not?
The level of it. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, that's
And then
interesting. I think the problem
kinda found
is.
that-
Go ahead. You're probably gonna say what I was thinking, David. Go ahead.
I think everybody wants to go next.
I know, that's the thing. In
Yeah.
MCDM, it wasn't that way because you always got a turn, and it didn't matter. You were just alternating back and forth.
Yeah.
I like that way of doing it better. Just alternate back and forth. I would say
But
alternate and find a different thing to use Hope and Fear for.
I can
I was
see
gonna
what they're
say-
wishing for. They're hoping that you can string together heroic moments by letting the same
Right.
character do a couple of things in a sequence and really have that spotlight moment where they accomplish something heroic and it's a big grand moment in the game. But
Mhm.
it's
Killing all the skeletons with a
That was great.
critical roll.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
that anyway.
That was awesome.
So
I mean,
that was awesome.
But it was interesting. Like often we'd start a round, and I felt like it was like, 2 or 3 of us would particularly want to go fast, but then we'd roll with fear, and it would be quite
Yes.
some time before
Right.
even the second player went, or
Yeah.
the third player. Like forget it, right? And so it really does break up that dynamic of like I could imagine a number of situations where you as a party kind of say, "Hey, you and I will go and do this." Well,
Yeah.
one person's going to do a thing, then there's going to be fear 50% of the time, or in our case 95% of the time, and
Right.
then the second player will go, and then there might be fear again. And so like the ability to plan is a little, which is again, it's fine in a very tactical thing, but from a story way, I feel like you want it to be a little more heroic, where you're kind of executing on your plan and stuff.
They have a fastball special kind of rule where you can spend 3 hope and coordinate multiple characters' actions in a
Mhm.
sequence.
Yeah, like Garrick and Carrie could say, okay, we're going to work together. One of those two spends
Right,
3
right.
hope, and then they both do in basically an attack roll. They take the one they want, which isn't necessarily always the higher one.
It's cool. I
Yeah.
don't know whether that's a spend everybody wants to make. That's a high spend, right? It's a high
Yeah,
price.
three hope to basically get a roll twice and take the better roll.
If you even have the 3, do you want to spend it, right?
Right.
No, you got
And
a
I
real
can
good point
sneak
though
attack and
about
possibly kill it.
plans getting broken up.
Yeah, the kind of pacing is. And the other thing is, if the DM keeps having to go, oh, okay, wow, I have to go again.
Yeah.
Well, all right. It could like you had how many turns in that combat, right?
I know, right?
You went a lot, and I think in general you don't want. Most games don't want the GM to be that active,
Yeah.
because it's the player's game, not the GM's game. The monsters should be dangerous, but dangerous based on going less often. And maybe it would work well if you were just always having easier creatures to fight. So them going often is not a problem.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I think if we were fighting against one boss and you had been going all those times, we would all be dead.
Yeah. The way the system works, where you have a solo guy against you, it could get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
If you got
Mhm.
one enemy and they get to go over and over and over while you're, it's like having a solo with 5 actions almost.
And how do you even tune that construction wise?
Oh, right.
When
Yeah.
you might be going.
I mean,
all the time.
at the very least, they're not going to go over and over and over, because they'll run out of fear/action tokens
Yeah.
almost immediately if there's only one of them.
Well, in
you
theory, I can only activate one time, and then it goes back to you guys. If I
Right,
had one monster, but the worst case is it'd be you, then them, you, then
Y-
them.
yes,
you, then them.
yeah.
Yeah. Although some monsters do have a thing called Relentless, where they can act multiple times on an activation. So there is that thing.
Hmm. Well, I mean, granted, I think we're also basing all of our opinions on us being level 1.
Right. No,
And
it'd be interesting to see eye level playtest too, for sure, on any
Yeah.
system. How does it do really high level when you're doing? The interesting thing is these characters, as they go up in level, they gain proficiencies. And those proficiencies are, you notice their weapon dice is like a D10 or a D8 or a D12. You get to have that many dice of proficiency. So you can have up to a proficiency of 6. So you'd be rolling 6 D8 for
Damage.
for Barnacle's damage. Yeah. 6 D8 in the base damage.
interesting.
Yeah, and several D12s for my tongue attack. And
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
6 D12s. Or was it half your proficiency? I don't remember which, but
No, I think it's
Yeah.
total. It's equal. Yeah.
so it could be a lot of dice in a hurry, a lot to track.
Well,
in a hurry.
and then is that too many dice to roll for a story-heavy game?
I know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, it's fun. Maybe they should just say it's not a story-heavy game. I don't know why you put that typo at the beginning. Like this is perfectly fun. We like this, like because I did have fun. It's just it's that kind of game where you're like, okay, I got to really know a lot of things, and I have to have a cheat sheet and all that.
Yeah. Like definitely I had my like PDF sheet up like on a separate monitor, and I was actually like filling in the dots and stuff like that because I do kind of feel like they're kind of heavily relying on that in terms of keeping track of the armor. Like I think it's easier that way than the trackers that we had in Roll20. But at the same time I'm just like the idea of having to check a threshold and armor and then either HP or stress is just a lot of places to look for to just decide whether or not you're hit or not.
You're really right about that. That calculation of the armor damage threshold is it's a neat mechanic if you want a tactical game, but boy, that is not storyish or simple because you have to sit there. Like I made a cheat sheet of that for myself, right? 3 or lower, 1 stress, 4 to 6, minor 1 hit point. So I could make that kind of calculation because otherwise, if I'm just looking through the rules, good night, right? Spend minutes every time I'm attacked.
Rules light.
Isn't that a similar mechanic for henchmen? I think I've seen that mechanic before.
There's like, games that use that mechanic.
Oh, there are?
I think
the one thing that it sort of struck me like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but there was a Tiny Tina's role play game.
Or like Borderland?
Oh, well, it's based on those characters, but it was a tabletop RPG instead.
That's kind of cool.
And they had like badass versus chaos. And so if your character wanted to do something badass, they could, but then the DM got like a chaos thing that they could use later. So when I was first reading about the hope and fear, that's immediately what my mind leapt to. But I do think it was more like the characters choose to do that, and then the DM gets resources because of it. It's not quite as like built into what your roles are and things like that in terms of how much you earn. But that seemed like a little bit more successful way of applying a similar concept.
So here's an important question: did everybody like their character, or did anybody feel like I wish I was playing someone else's character?
I definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
I felt like Garrick was kind of weak sauce compared to some of the other characters. It seemed like he didn't have much to do.
Carrie definitely has a lot to do.
I didn't immediately realize that we were going to be using pre-gens, so I was actually really excited about building a character. And then when I realized it was pre-gens, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine because it's a playtest. But I think it would be a lot more fun to build a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The demi-plane interface looks great. I played around with it a bit.
And the character sheets are great. That's really a highlight, I think, of the work they've done.
Cool. Like the explainer sheet and all, that's awesome.
Yep.
Cards could be really fun to use. Especially if you're loading, switching out your loadouts, you go back to base and switch to a different character sheet. That'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody fill out their connections?
No.
Because I actually did.
Right on that merchandising, like, because there's cards and tokens and this. Like, I think this might all just be based on how to sell stuff.
Cha-ching.
It certainly has that ability, right? Now, it could also be this is more attractive because there's cards. Because,
is it one box or am I buying extra packs?
Yeah. Because they could certainly do all the things without cards. The cards weren't necessary.
Right.
But they do give a tactical feel to it.
I mean, they have the loadout and the vault.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured, like, how you have a spell list as a spellcaster and you just hit the checkbox by the ones you take? You do the same thing where you list your 10 or 11 things and check the ones you're taking. So it's certainly not necessary, but I think they like the tactical feel of it probably. And it's certainly nice to be able to hand it to someone and say, here's what my power does.
Right. Yeah, well, to be honest, I think they helped me. Like I had that sheet up too.
Yeah.
So just like as quick references, I do think that they were helping me.
Well, thanks a lot for playing, everyone. You guys did
thanks for running
a really good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Glad my power didn't go out this time.
Yeah.
Were you intending to do one where we die?
No. I think I'm done for the night.
Sure.
I could do it like really quick. Like I was surprised.
I could just bring in the level 9 monsters, level 10 monsters, and the ones that do like 60-10 damage. Named it real quick.
The only thing I did want to add, though, I believe my character was almost identical to the one I played in Shadow Dark. I think it was the exact same name, and I think the the actual art is really darn close.
That's funny.
I know it's completely coincidence, but
Yeah.
I did play this stupid half work in Shadow Dark that looked almost identical and had the similar features. So
I think
I really enjoyed it. I
think this
always like
giant-
to play with new things.
the giant's
What's
got a
that?
third eye. The giant's got a third eye.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If we would have been role playing, I wanted that third eye to always be like rolling whenever somebody said something they didn't agree with. You know? So,
All right.
thank you, Anton.
Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna check out
you.
for the night.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so much
Thanks,
for
everybody.
running.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
folks.
All right, y'all.
Night.
Take care.